Back over. Open up the cabin door. They should be right there at the bottom. The battery. Right there. The battery should be right there. Sorry. No, somebody must have put some stuff. No, they were down. Somebody must have.
Madam Clerk, are you ready? I'm just going to speak closer to that camera, but just let Ms. Dixon keep looking at what you're doing, but we don't have to keep the train running. All right, Commissioners, are you all ready? Yes. All right. This meeting is called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Turner.
Present.
Commissioner Seals.
Here.
Mayor.
Present.
City clerk is present. Police chief.
Present.
Fire chief.
Present.
Public works.
Here.
City attorney.
Present.
All right, at this time, I will call on Commissioner Willie Turner to lead us in prayer, and it will be followed by the pledge. Please stand.
Father God, we come this day thanking you for this day you have made. Let us rejoice and be glad. And thank you for letting us make it here safely, Father. And Father, as we conduct city business, Father, help us to do it decent and in order. Father, give us the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that we can move this city forward. Bless all the department heads, bless all the citizens, Father. In Jesus' name we pray and ask it all. Amen.
Amen. Salute, pledge. Pledge
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner, I heard you say in Jesus' name, and that's how I know that everything will be okay. I know it. All right, having previously received a copy of the board minutes for the 11th to 29th, the board hereby waives the reading and adopts the minutes of September the 11th to 21st in its present form. Any motion?
So moved. Second.
There is a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Madam Clerk, you do have the floor. I want to tell you first, gentlemen, you have some enticement on your desk today. The people of Lowe's, they wanted to send you guys something, and they said what more fitting way to send each of the commissioners a Lowe's Pro hat. And Kevin thought it was a good gesture. I think they want to do a lot over here in Clarksdale. So you got your.
Oh, I just spent $10,000 with it.
But guess what? Then you paid for that hat 10 times over now. So there you go. So they know you will, Commissioner. So there's your hat, and everybody sees it. There's their little pro hat that they gave to all the commissioners and to the mayor. All right, Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
We'll start with department head comments. From the clerk's office, we'd like to notify everyone of the special election for Ward 2 being held on October the 3rd. Absentee voting is occurring now during the business hours and on this upcoming Saturday, September the 30th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. All mailed-in absentee voting must be received by Monday, October the 2nd at 5 p.m. They must be postmarked by September the 30th.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, let's go over that again, because this is a great moment in Clarksdale's history. So you don't see these type of opportunities come. And so the people, when we lost our dear friend, Commissioner Ken Murphy, and all of a sudden a large number of people made a decision to run. So how many people are actually vying for the position? 7 individuals for one commissioner seat. That's a large number of people. So secondly, the election is on what date is the special election?
Tuesday, October the 3rd.
Okay. So that means we are what? Well, we're a week out, right?
We'll have it before next week.
That's right.
At the city auditorium.
So that means that there is no other formal meeting that we will have, and therefore the election will be Tuesday, but we will have vetting on that same week. So this is the last week before the election. Okay.
Might be next board meeting, the same thing.
Potentially, Commissioner of Ward 1 is stating that the seat could be filled as early as Tuesday, October the 3rd. Okay, so it's coming. So, Madam Clerk, can people come into your office if they are absent? Council flank the clerk with this one. If they are absent on the day of Tuesday the 3rd, they can actually come to City Hall and come vote. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay. Can they do that today?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, so asking questions is a good thing. So if people think that they are not going to be present on the 3rd, they can actually come vote now.
Yes.
And with other stipulations, Cass, you want to allude to
They
those?
they can come vote up until noon, September 30th on Saturday. And during the business hours right now, the city clerk, even though the city clerk is here, her office is still open until 5 p.m. today.
Okay, and so if you're out of town is one option, what are the other benchmarks to say that you can come and vote early?
If you are over 65 or if you are disabled, whether it be temporarily or permanently.
Okay, so some type of disability, over 65, and if you're going to be out of town on that day of the election.
That is correct.
Understand? Right. So, Madam Clerk, has there been any requests for absentee ballots?
Yes.
Okay. So those can be requested by the clerk's office, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, are there any other points that Commissioner Ward 1, 3, and 4 need to cover on this? Because this is a special election, and I want to make sure that everyone gets this right, and we're on point and being very accurate in what's getting ready to happen. Commissioner of Ward 3, you have the floor.
So if it's a runoff, then what would be the date? Is that
That will be Tuesday, October 24th.
Okay?
3 weeks later.
That's right. 3 weeks later. All right, so if there is a runoff, and that means if one individual does not garner 50% plus 1 over everyone else total, that means that there will be a runoff with the 2 top vote getters, correct?
That is correct.
And so that would be on October the 24th.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner of Ward 3, that was a good question. You have any other thoughts? You still have?
No. I yield.
Okay, gentlemen, you. All right, Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Police.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. From the police department entered 354 calls for service since the last meeting. Made 22 arrests, 8 of those for juvenile, 5 for felony arrests. Wrote 204 incident reports and worked 10 motor vehicle accidents and issued 17 citations.
Fire.
We had 1 gas spill, 1 storage shed fire, 1 car fire, a detached garage fire, 3 lift assist, 1 alarm malfunction, and 1 carbon monoxide alarm.
Public Works.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Last few weeks, Public Works been in the process of cleaning up. We've demolished 6 houses, and we're still in our regular process of picking up trash and cutting grass.
Okay, to the Public Works Director, I know that it's an ongoing process, but I think the commissioners have had some concerns to make sure, because we know that it's gonna take maybe 6 months to come back and do this, and we've been telegraphing this punch for maybe about 2 months now. So the demolition has started,
Yes, sir.
all right? And the update was, so within the last 3 days, you guys have demolished 6 homes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, has the list grown?
As of the moment, it has not. I think we have set hearings on 4 houses today. So those will also be added.
Okay. Commissioner of Ward 1.
Can you give us an update on the landfill, the status on that we all been trying to track?
We've got something coming up later on in the meeting, dealing with the landfill to get us back toward compliance.
Back to it.
Commissioner, I guess at this point, since the question was asked, so the Public Works Director, we're doing a 2-step almost. So first, the demolition of all of these homes are going on right now. And so, you know, that's a massive amount of debris that's going to be at the landfill. And so, that's right. But Public Works Director has been able to secure, because of the weather and bringing bids together, he was able to secure the ability for 500 loads of dirt to be started to cover up the landfill to keep us in, to get us more in compliance of the order that had been issued. So, in other words, the landfill now will be full of debris from the homes, the demolition, and the dirt is designed to come right behind it. To the Public Works Director that I accurately depict, I'm trying to give
Yes,
the
sir.
full story.
Yes, sir. We're in the process of purchasing some cover dirt to cover the landfill, which will bring us back into compliance.
Commissioner Ward, when you see how.
That's good. I just want to make sure.
Gentleman yields, madam. Counsel, I'm sorry.
Yes, we also have a few homes coming in by way of waiver. They do not have to go through the full process, so we do have some of those on the agenda today to get on the list. So it will be growing today as well.
Okay. Right. And again, we're getting ready to go into the rainy season. I think this is going to accurately, this is going to show DEQ that we have been serious about the upkeep of our landfill, and they wanted to see progress, and this is going to be a significant step in the right direction. And so I'm thankful to the Public Works Director for putting this all together. And I think on a schedule, if you were to look at a logistical standpoint, so far, and we'll knock on wood, it's worked out perfectly. So do your best. Madam Clerk.
Personnel.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The city continually receives applications through the Wynn Job Center for police and fire, and currently there are no additional positions open. However, if you are interested in employment with the city, please submit an application through the Wynn Job Center for any position. I'm always interested in having a pool of applicants for various positions. Thank you.
Grant Writer.
Since we last met, our recreational trails grant application has advanced to the next phase, which means that we are currently preparing to get an archaeological study of the Sunflower River bank completed to further this grant.
City Attorney.
Good afternoon. We do have planning commission items on the agenda later today, but also the deadline for the October meeting will be this Friday, September 29th, for new applications for the planning commission. The planning commission is coming along. There are new businesses trying to open within the city of Clarksville. But the deadline again is this Friday, September 29th.
Commissioner of Ward 1, you have the floor.
I'm glad to see Terry Smith out in the audience, but this is from Melvin. On the bridge at Price Point, on that grant, the money that we set aside $5 million for that. I was looking at my calendar, it's getting closer and closer, so where are we standing there? Because y'all have not brought nothing to this board for approval on design, on anything, and I've been keeping track of that deadline, and it's coming up. And last time we had to get an extension. I don't know if we can get any more extensions on that or not. So where are we standing at on that? Because like I said, that time is starting to, like I said, I seen Terry walk in, so where are we standing at on that? Because I know they got the bid to do the design on Price Point Bridge and all that.
Okay, so if Ms. Dixon can respond, and if Mr. Smith, you would like to come forward and speak.
Because that time is getting closer.
Ms. Dixon, you have.
That time is getting closer, Mr. Commissioner, you're absolutely right. We have been in communication with Ken Weiland at Smith & Weiland, and we are currently doing the geotech and environmental studies. So you can expect to start seeing bills rolling in for that probably next month. But we are within the timeline that was originally framed for that project.
See, I thought we already had all them all the environment study and everything done when we decided to do all this. All that was already done at one time.
Not for this project. Those studies were not done.
So what timeline are we looking at? Because like I said, I'm tracking.
Commissioner, if you could, get in your mic.
I mean, so
one second, John. Chief, if you can adjust it, it's like a little jump back in the system. Commissioner, you have.
Okay, go ahead.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
I mean, I've been tracking that timeline, so how much timeline do we got before the project got to get started? Once it gets started, we're okay.
So
what is the date, looking at a start date on doing all this?
on the actual
Right,
construction.
because just like the mayor said, we think start getting in the rainy season. When that does, that little river back there gets full of water and starts backing up and everything else, and that's gonna stop things to the next spring. So when actually,
So no construction will likely be done on Friars Point before next spring. And that was taken into consideration when the project was begun a couple months ago when we did contract with Smith & Weiland, because Ken Weiland did let us know that it would be some time before construction actually began. So that will be more than likely, again, next late spring, early summer. We're just getting all the preliminary red tape and design out of the way first. But again, once we have already started, again, all of those surveys, so that, those bills will start, which is the thing that we need to look at, is making sure that some payments are coming out of it, so that we're not getting more interest than we're paying out, I think is what you're referring to.
Right.
So we're in compliance with that, and we have been in contact with Trey Hairston at Butler Snow, and he's okay with with how we're progressing and where we are with this.
because I know we lost about, between 8 months to a year messing with the county, because the county was going good and all, something happened and it's all landed back on us. So, like I said, I'll track all this on my calendar.
Yes, sir.
And I said, well, let me ask, because like I said, y'all ain't brought it up, and I know that timeline, and this board don't need to be hit for the last minute and say, uh-oh, we gotta merge, we gotta do this. So that's all, this board needs to know what is the plan to make sure we don't have no hiccups.
Yes, sir, I completely agree and understand, but we are on track, and I can reach out to Mr. Weiland and try to get you a better timeline, so you'll have that.
I think this board needs a timeline when all this supposed to start taking shape, because once it does, it's going, traffic gonna be involved in it, moving and stuff,
Right.
and we gotta make sure we put that information out to people.
Yes, sir, I will get that to you by the next board meeting,
Okay, thank you.
before the next board meeting.
That's all, man.
Mr. Smith, I think it warrants a little bit more discussion, but as Mr. Smith comes forward, I want to make sure, because a lot of people will walk out of this room and say that there's a fire in the theater on this particular subject. And Ms. Dixon articulated that there is not. We're in compliance fully with the expenditures on this particular bond, but we're getting everything started. So there is no jeopardy of losing funding or having to send the funds back. And I know a lot of people will like to sensationalize what was just said. And again, if we're interested in putting accurate information out to the public, Ms. Dixon, can you just state that again so it's very clear from the position of the city of Clarksville?
Yes, we are in compliance with the bond that was taken out for Friars Point Road, and we are In line with our projected timeline, we did not anticipate actual construction beginning this early, and we are still currently working on all of the geotech and environmental studies necessary for that project.
So let me ask it a little bit more straightforward. Are we in compliance?
Yes.
Okay.
Just to supplement that, first of all, I agree with everything Commissioner Plunk has said and everything that Ms. Dixon has said. We do need to pay close attention to the timeline, and it does have some urgency to it. However, we're right on track with where we expected.
That's all I needed to know.
So there is a lot of, she said, red tape, requirements, federal requirements, state requirements, a lot of things that have to be done by other people, geotechnical analysis, hydraulic analysis, floodplain analysis. Those things are all underway right now. Where the design is underway. So you should be seeing paper in front of you as soon as all those components come together and we have something of substance to show you. But I believe at that time, we're going to be close to the finish line on the design.
That's all I want, because like I said, we got behind the 8 ball and we gave it to the county, then we got back to us. And once we bid it out, y'all got the bid, it all been quiet and silent, ain't nobody brought nothing up. But like I said, I track everything the city does on my own personal calendar. Well, I can stay up on it, and like I said, since it ain't been brought up and the board, I don't want anybody on this board to forget. Because like I said, we all liable to make sure we ask some questions to refresh our minds and memories of what's going on. Well, we keep, the community's asking us questions all the time. And I don't want to look like, well, I don't know. But I want to have an answer to be able to tell them when people ask.
We put a rough timeline out at the beginning, and we're on track with it, but feel free anytime that you need an update to call on us, and we'll be glad to give you a current.
Well, that's all I just want to make
So
sure.
I want to make sure, again, in the commissioner's comments, with this issue with the grant writer. So, Mr. Smith, I want to clear this up so there's no ambiguity. On this project, it's a skyfall.
No.
No. Are we in compliance?
With everything on our end and aspect, I can say yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Sure.
Next, we'll have commissioner comments. Commissioner Ward 1.
Well, as the mayor says, we can get into the rainy season, the grass season, we're ending, leaves are gonna start falling. Everybody knows we've had a lot of issues picking up trash and all that, so I appreciate it consistent with it. When they break their yard, blow it up, leaves start falling, pick them up and bag them, now let them go into the drain, and we run into that issues again of flooding, and that's one thing we're trying to stay away from. So I need the citizens to help the city, to help them. So, that's it, Mayor.
Ward 2. I mean, I'm sorry, Ward 3.
Yes, if you may. On these demos, other houses are showing up that may have not been on the demo list. And I know the board and the city know, the department head know that sometime when the process gets started, another house may burn close to the house that was on the list to be demoed. So when the city go demo that house, they make it look like to a citizen, they say, why did they get that house too? It was right there. But it's a process. So what I like to clear up, it's a house on next to 226 Washington Street where the city just cleared a trailer, trailer off this lot. But the house next to it need to be demoed. Next to 226 Washington. Okay, we have 330 Adams was a burnout. I think it may be on the list today. I don't know. I'm not looking at my list. I'm not looking at my agenda, but I'm looking at the list that I have. And 131 Adams, a demo. Okay, it's a building on Magnolia off of Madison, next to a vacant lot. This building used to be a liquor store. It was a brick and block building. The structure don't really look real bad. I'm not trying to just, we're clearing property, we're not trying to make it a ghost town. If somebody maybe get in touch with the owner to see what's the plan. It look like it could be brought back to life. But there's Magnolia and Madison right next to a vacant lot. The corner of Adams and Walnut, right before 117 Adams, it's a burnout. Now 1010 Rustling have been discussed several times at Rustling and Smith. It was a roll-off dumpster there for a long time. They moved the dumpster, now the grass has overgrown the house. And this has been up for discussion for a while. I don't know where we are on it, but it needs to be some urgency on this piece of property. Now, 703 Cherry may have made the demo. Is that where the trucks are now, Craig?
No, sir. The next property will be on Main Street.
Okay, well, 703 Cherry should be on that list. The house before 809 Spruce, demo. 834 Spruce, demo. 403 Adams and Bishop F.M. Dawson, demo. Now this house next to the structure that may be already on the demo list on Magnolia, I want to say it's the 700 or 800 block. It's right beside a house that should be on the demo list. You familiar with that property? Public Work, I think this was the...
I believe we're in the process already. They've already set a hearing for it.
For one of them or both of them?
I believe for both of them.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's all I have. So some of these houses may hit the list. Some of them may be on the list, but I just want to reassure that it's in the process. Thank you.
Commissioner, I think you make a very valid point to the Public Works Director. It is disheartening sometimes for a constituent to see a house being demolished, but literally right across the street, the other one is not being demolished. And council, you know, there's a process to that. And I don't know, Commissioner, I guess I'm open for suggestions. Maybe we need to get the awareness out. Maybe when we're demolishing a home in a neighborhood, maybe we should put a notice to say what the process is for a house to come down, because a constituent that sees a home that is burned down right across the street, but we only demolish this one, but take off to another neighborhood, council, legally we can't tear that one down. So I think that's a very good point.
My suggestion is to, when they look at this, they look at that block, because it would save Public Works time and money and people if they gotta tear one down and move across the street and tear the other, instead of coming back 2 months, 3 months later, since they already there. So when y'all look at these houses created that need to be torn down, look at that one block. There's more than one on that block. Because like I said, it saves them time and money if they're already there. They can not do more than one instead of coming back later. So, because it takes a while for this process to go through anyway. So it ain't like it's gonna be put on there today and next week it's gonna be torn down. It's gonna be a month or two anyway. So they should have time to look at that block. And the fire department notifies, if I ain't mistaken, Public Works every time the house burns, especially where they can go look at it then. Last time I talked to the chief, when the house burned, they turned it over to Public Works and to the attorney, where the code inspector go out there and said that house might be torn down anyway. So there's no reason to just let somebody do their homework.
Yes. Legal counsel and then Public Works Director.
Yes, sir. We are going street by street, constructing a list. So every home
that can be done before the rainy season starts. Public Works is and plans to do it in conjunction with the county. And then moving forward, while the rainy season is going on, we're still going to be bringing homes to this board. So when spring comes, there will be another list ready to go, and it will be planned beforehand.
All right, one question there.
You have
Especially you, Melvin, because you have told us, we've had a list, 50 houses before, and then a year later when they got ready to do it, we got in trouble because we tore houses down. So you saying you're gonna have a list for the spring, is that list still gonna be valid, or you gonna have to go back and redo it again because you're wasting your time and your secretary's time? Because once you put that house on there, how long do we got before we can tear that house down? 6 months, a year, 2 years? Because last time you told us you gotta go back because we already had a list that already went through the process. It was 2 years old. You said, no, we gotta go back and do the list. Well, what I'm asking you, how long is that list gonna be legally good for?
Legally, I prefer to do, if we're gonna do demolition, I prefer to do it legally within 1 year of you voting to demolish it. That's why we get it together during these rainy months to do it in the spring, and that way we can pre-plan to get to whatever you put on the list to get it down. Actually get it down, and that way to clean up the property and cut the grass, even after it's gone down, we have a total of 2 years.
Okay. I guess me and Commissioner Turner need to write these down, these dates, because 2 years come up. He said, well, we gotta go back through the process.
And that has been a problem before, where it has gotten on the list, it's never come down, so by the time it comes up again, it's time we have to go through the process again, because the time has expired.
That has happened several times, and that's why Commissioner Turner got upset, because we had a list of 50 houses. The time we got ready to do it, well, the list ain't no good, we gotta do property and assessment and all that again, and that's a waste of time and money and everything else. Then it's another year before we even get the hack tore down. Okay. That's it, Mayor, thank you.
Gentleman yields, but I think the Public Works Director was gonna chime in.
No, sir.
No, okay, all right.
Ward 4.
Thank you. Mayor, I think there might be a need for additional Skycop cameras. Now lately, I've received calls from several citizens complaining about the random shooting. They not only complained about the random shooting in the upper brickyard, but they're complaining about the random shooting in Ward 1, in Ward 2 as well. During the second and third week in September, there was some random shooting almost every night on these streets. We got Catawba, we got Lynn, we got Pecan, we got Herod, we got Vincent Street, we got Rushmore, we have Spruce, and of course, we need to try to get this shooting under control. And Chief, we need to have some additional officers. Let's do it.
I'm definitely looking, you are correct. We have had some shootings in those areas that you mentioned. We have tried to add some extra patrol to the Sheriff's Department. Has also committed deputies to the city to help us to try to combat these shootings that we've been having. And we will continue to do the best we can to try to get this, to curb those shootings.
Okay.
In some of those areas, there is also some Skycop on some of those streets. So we can go back and review to see if we're able to identify anyone doing the shooting.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chief.
Commissioner of Ward 4, I believe you hit a good point on some of the technology that can be used, that can be added to Skycop Chief. I don't want to go into details, but maybe we need to see in some of those areas, can we add that other technology that may be able to pinpoint some of these shootings. And so I don't want to go into what can be done, but you know, maybe we should just look into that and report back to the board, and let's look at a cost and see where we are with something like that. Okay. Commissioner of Ward 1, you have the floor.
I've had that talk with the chief and Ms. Dixon on that extra stuff, so they're trying to find money to do that extra stuff.
Yeah. Again, you know, the technology has been, I don't know, I think about Seattle Seahawks football team, the 12th man on the field. Sky Cops have definitely been a valuable asset to us, and it's like an extra set of eyes that never blink. And, or sleep, that's right, or sleep. And, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words when you get ready to go to court, you know? So, but I don't want to go into the details. We just want to keep talking about those cameras may not work. So let's say they don't work. so the criminal can stay right where what their thought process is on that. Yes, ma'am.
Next we have mayor's comment.
All right, let's go to work.
Community comment, Ms. Maggie Washington.
I'll say something on that.
You know about this commissioner?
Yes, I've been getting calls on this house for 2 years. It's on right there at the corner. People move in and then move out. The grass right now is probably 6 feet. And I've talked to Craig about it because it's on Main thoroughfare right through Maple. So we need to do something with that, because like I said, it's a rental property. It ain't a homeowner, it's a rental house. Like I said, people move in, stay 2 months, then they gone. And when they there 2 months, they never cut the grass. So grass is about 4 foot tall right now over on Maple. And this poor lady is in her elderly age, and she just worries, because like I said, you got shooting, stealing, place for people to hide in the grass. You can't hide the grass to
Gentleman yield.
Yes.
So to our public works director, you would need to get with code enforcement on that one and have a report to the office in the morning on that particular address.
Yes,
for your
sir.
code enforcement director.
Next we have Mr. Alfred Kemp, Senior. Wanted to make an announcement on the Meet the Candidate on September the 30th at the Beck Gazebo beside the auditorium. Next, Ms. Bessie Jones is requesting to use the gazebo for the breast cancer awareness community event on October the 21st, and to use the mirror room in case of rain.
Okay.
Oh,
And the council, I mean, I see what they're saying, breast cancer awareness, and then moving into the mirror room in case of rain.
That would normally be your reduced rate if you did it, if you wanted to. As far as the gazebo, I don't think you have a rental for the gazebo.
That's public, that's good.
Yeah, that's outside.
First come, first served on that.
Yeah. Council, we're still gonna have to, this has been plaguing the board for now 3 years. And you're gonna have to figure out some strong way to address this, because in my mind, and Commissioner, I think you ought to chime in on this one as well. You know, when people are bringing awareness and there is $0 attached to it, you know, I'm just not sure how to proceed ethically. I understand the legal aspect, but the hint of being unethical with picks and chooses on who gets the auditorium, well, they get into a commissioner's ear and they say, oh, this is a good cause, you know, and then we come back in here and say, oh, let's waive the fees or let's do a partial fee. And even they done that with me. You know, that's happened with me. I've become sympathetic to a cause, you know. They draw the mayor in and say, hey, you know, we're not charging anything. We're not making any money. So some type of way it needs to remove itself once the council votes on a legislatively structure. It should not even be a question. And now there's always a question every single time about the rental of any of these items. So again, you know, we're gonna have to come up with something cleaner because we all get the calls and we all want to help, but it becomes this roller coaster of a thought process. Commissioner Award one.
Mayor, you don't have to give no thought. I've done it for 14 years. 2 attorneys sitting there before Melvin already told us. You got an attorney, Junior opinion, it is illegal. You cannot. It's already black and white. The only thing that they said that we could do as a board is reduce the rate. But you cannot, by law, by 2 attorneys, and I already got opinion on, you cannot give it to them free. Period. That's already in black and white. The only authorization that this board has is to reduce it. We can reduce it. That's it, period. Now, if I ain't mistaken, Ed, you correct, we already came up with a set rate.
Gentlemen, refrain from using the name. Let's refer to Commissioner Ward 4 or something like that. Yeah.
Commissioner Seals was already here on the board. Commissioner Turner was. But the board already, prior, you go look at it, already set a policy reducing it to a certain amount, and that was it. I think 250 was the lowest that we could do it. And it's already a policy on that. So unless we change that policy to lower it more or raise it, it gotta come back from the board. But 2 attorneys already got opinion from the state, and the state says you cannot, because that is taxpayers' money, and you cannot give taxpayers' money away. So giving it free is already set. You can't do that. The only leeway they gave us is that you could reduce it to an amount that you want to reduce it. Well, the board already got a policy, but the lowest that we can reduce that amount to is 250, period. It's a policy there, so unless we change the policy, the lowest we can do it is 250, but we cannot give it away, because it is taxpayer money. Period. It's already black and white. So it shouldn't be no debate unless you want to reduce it more. But this board got to consider, the auditorium does not pay for itself. And if you look at these agendas right now, the money that we're putting into it and that we're spending, I mean, we lose money. We ain't there to make money off of it. It's there to provide a service to the citizens. But sooner or later, it's like Mr. Murphy used to say, that broken window. You can run out of money where you can't do nothing, then you can't do nothing. But it's already a policy in place, and the state already told us what we can do. You know, I'm like you. It's several groups, they all call us, and you want to help, they all good things, but your hands are tied. So, that's it, Mayor.
Understand, gentlemen. Council, again, I'm gonna say we're all in the same basket on this.
Yeah.
Commissioner of Ward 1, 3, and 4. We've all had people pulling at us to either reduce the rate or get it for free. And it keeps coming back to, you know, what is the benchmark for the reduction in the rate? Again, it becomes this, I don't want to say a discussion of a friend, but it becomes that we've all gotten the same cause. So we're all in this basket together on this subject. And then your heart goes out to them, and then guess what happens? At first we say, no. It has to be this amount, whatever the set amount is. And then the person calls one of us, and you know, they talk to you for about 15 minutes on the phone, and then all of a sudden it becomes the reduced rate. So I'm not debating about what is the top rate, the reduced rate, or for free. I'm saying it constantly does this. It constantly does it. And I'm trying to say that it really has to stop some kind of way, because it's almost like when they call my office and I try to have Lisa as the firewall to say that's what the rate is, period. Because I know if someone calls me and they talk about a good cause, guess what I'm gonna say? Oh, well, we can figure it out and reduce the rate. or I'll pay for it. You know, I get into that position where I end up paying for it myself. But that's not right either. That's just as wrong. You know, the mayor just gonna pay for it, but that's wrong. So, you know, and the commissioner has done the same thing. He's used his money. Commissioner of Ward 1. Yeah, he's helped out. We've all helped out. Commissioner of Ward 4 and 3. So, council, I'm just saying that it seems like there needs to be some other uniform answer about the rate only changes in this window, or it stays this. And what is the benchmark for it to be? Now, I know if it's a city event, well, we know what that is. That's not, you know, payable. But, and then people have gotten around it, you know. They start asking me to sponsor the event. The city of Clarksdale sponsors everything. And they trying to get around paying anything. I don't know. Look, this has been going on for some time. It was going on before me. And maybe it's gonna go on after me. So maybe I just council, unless I'm just trying to let sleeping dogs lie, you try to figure it out.
I will say this, Mayor, the reason an issue like this is so sticky is because it's hard to get everyone to agree. Whenever you have something that goes from administration to administration, it's because it is a hard issue, and you're elected officials, and that's because you serve and your heart goes out to the people. So then it's kind of hard for you to set a hard line for the people. So it's hats off to you, but it also creates, your hearts also create this particular problem. But you have managed to keep the Civic Auditorium afloat, and hopefully that will continue no matter what.
All right, Council, so help keep us out of trouble. All right, that's the best way I can say that. All right. So does this require a vote?
Yes.
Okay. So again, Council, what is the recommendation?
And again, this is to the pleasure of the board. It does fall on you to decide. She would have to rent it for this necessary for this event, but it is up to you to set the rate at this. That's the policy at this time.
I guess.
That is if it's raining, right?
Only if it's raining.
Commissioner, give me your mic, because maybe people want to be able to hear. October the 21st.
It is a refundable deposit if it does not rain.
So I guess, again, Council, we're looking for your recommendation so we get to the motion.
My recommendation would be within the power of the board if you so choose to charge a reduced rate.
I told you. I'm letting the process play out because I'm trying to tell you, it's again one of those scenarios that is really up to the discretion of the board, but you want to stay within your legal boundaries. And again, this is, okay, so let me say it for the record now. This is the commissioners' meeting. I'm only here as the mayor to facilitate, and I only vote in a tie.
I'll make a motion that if it rains, that we charge you to reduce it.
All right, so there's the motion. And then it was seconded by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. I just want the public to know to give me a way out. I only vote in case there's a tie. All right.
Like I said, they're all good causes.
That's right.
Next we have Mr. Milton Gardner.
Okay, to the mayor, commissioners, and the citizens of Clarksville, Mississippi, my name is Milton Gardner. I'm a local community advocate, and I try to do whatever I can throughout the community, throughout the city of Clarksville to help enhance it. Down on the agenda, I put down that I was going to do an update on the gazebo. the gazebo here on Sunflower Avenue. We had a guy, homeless guy that had been living up there, and this guy had been getting into a lot of criminal activities, and he was being arrested and he was being taken to jail. But from my understanding, and I talked with someone that works with the city that has knowledge of this particular incident, was how was this individual constantly being released from jail and was committing crime. And I was told that the current Sheriff Charles Jones, do not take mental patients into his jailhouse. So far, with the police present around the gazebo here on Sunflower Avenue, the individual haven't been living up there, and I've been visiting the gazebo here on Sunflower Avenue more frequent myself. Also, I just want to say to the Public Works Director, Mr. Emerson, right here is this little memorial that's adjacent to the City Hall, where you have the concrete benches out there. You have like 1, you have like 2, and you have like 3. Now, the ones that are closer to City Hall or to the police station, people, they don't frequent those, they don't sit out there too regularly. But the ones close to the bridge, they sit out there, and you'll find all kind of beer cans and beer bottles and trash, and it didn't used to be like that. You know what I'm saying? But they done made that, I guess they're the second home. Now, to the other matter on Crime Stoppers. I talked with Mrs. Michelle Funder again last week, and she told me that the name of the Crime Stoppers could not be the Clarksdale-Coahoma County Crime Stoppers, but then that it can be the Clarksdale Crime Stoppers Incorporated, a Mississippi non-profit organization. So I went back into the bylaws that I had put together, and we changed the name from the Clarksdale-Coahoma County Crime Stoppers to the Clarksdale Crime Stoppers, which is a Mississippi non-profit corporation. But now she told me that anytime if me or myself or whoever tried to inject the name Coahoma County in it, that they would not receive any of those funds. So the only way that we will have access to those funds that Mrs. Michelle Fondrum currently holds access to those funds through Regional Bank is that they have to be Clarksdale Crime Stoppers. So we're still working on the 501c3, and we just got a lot of work ahead of us. We got to have, like I said, attorneys involved. We got to have accountants involved. We got to have software, and we got to have all that. So this ain't just something, you know, that you can just jump into it and just automatically, you know, get the pattern to vote down the screen. This here is going to take a little bit of time, and I just ask you all to indulge with us and to be patient with us. Thank you all.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Next, Florida Care Properties, Delta Manor, the Church of Christ, and the Clarksdale Fire Department is requesting police assistance in securing the route for the Cancer Awareness Walk on October the 13th.
Chief, are we good?
Yes, sir, I already have it on the calendar.
Need a motion?
So moved to acknowledge.
Seconded.
As a second by Commissioner of Ward 4, all those in favor say aye.
The Disabled Veterans meeting is requesting to use the South Annex at no charge on October 7th at 10 a.m. for a meeting.
Again, gentlemen, here we go. Here's one of those scenarios. I mean, this is for the veterans. All right, let me ask this, council. Okay, what is the actual charge? Okay, so Commissioner Plunk and I'll split the bill. Again, do you see what happens? I mean, what'd you say, Ken?
They have to vote on the reduced rate.
I get it, but I'm just trying to say, you see the actual canyon that we keep falling into on this subject. And again, you know, I'm pretty sure all of us will give every dime that we have to support the veterans.
Yes, sir.
And we don't want to make a mistake with that. So again,
Need to make a motion.
all right, come on, Commissioner.
So move.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye. So Madam Clerk, just write the receipt out, split it, and we're gonna both pay it.
The mayor's good.
Yeah, all right.
Next, we're requesting permission to accept the proposal from Hartley's Greenhead Outdoors for a 31 HP Kowalski zero turn.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And there's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Requesting permission for Corporal Levy to be sworn under oath for Deputy Municipal Court Clerk for affidavits.
Need a
So
motion?
moved.
Seconded.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. All those in favor say aye.
Requesting authorization to execute end-of-year fiscal year transfers.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye.
Requesting permission to make line item budget changes.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Requesting permission to reimburse the debit account in the amount of $58.84.
So moved.
Seconded.
And there's a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. All those in favor say aye.
Requesting permission to pay miscellaneous claims.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye.
Would like to announce the police department will host a physical agility test on October the 14th at Lee Academy.
So moved to knowledge.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Requesting authorization for Sergeant Johnson to attend a certified investigator training program in Moorhead, and authorization for the clerk to issue warrants for
Need a motion?
registration.
So moved to authorize.
Seconded.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. All those in favor say aye.
Requesting permission for the police department to purchase a lifetime membership to utilize the simulation room at MDCC LETA in the amount of $3,500.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Would like to acknowledge the consent to burn for Eugene Booth.
So moved to knowledge.
Yeah, I got a question. Okay. So moved.
There's a second. There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Would like to accept the best quote from MMC Materials in the amount of $172 per square yard for the purchase of concrete for prior jobs.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye. Now, to our Public Works Director, I understand what that has meant, but how close are we to starting on Russell?
I believe the date set was the 12th. All right.
12th of,
12th of October to open the bids.
oh wow. All right, but you see how long it takes to do concrete work. It just takes time. And we're pushing the ball as fast as humanly possible, but again, you have to do it the right way. All right.
Would like to acknowledge the quote received from Shetler Excavating in amount $105,000 and Mid-South Waste Disposal $74,000 for supply, hauling, and spreading of dirt to the landfill.
So moved to knowledge.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye. Again, to the Public Works Director, this allows you, correct, after we finish the demolition, what happens after that with this, being able to get this quote in and to accept it.
Once it is accepted, we can start the process of hauling dirt to cover the trash at the landfill.
Right. And this allows us to be in compliance with DEQ. So this is a great step in the right direction. And hopefully the weather holds until maybe a week and a half, you know?
Yes.
And so we can start doing the cutting. So again, I think there was a question by the commissioners about DEQ compliance. This will help us to keep the decree and keep us in the good graces council of what DEQ would like for us, for them to see that we do. Okay.
Next, we're requesting permission to accept the lowest and best quote from Proboy Welding in the amount of $2,189 for a floodgate in the Public Works Department.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye. Give us a little, this is your,
No, this is in Ward 2.
okay.
Nelson and Terry and them already did, they sent everybody out, sent Arch out there, so it's on the city. So that's for Ward 2, and like I said, Terry went through it, everybody's good with it, it's on the city watch, it's flooding out there.
Okay. Ms. Smith, if you could, just address it so everyone, and put everyone mind at ease, so from the engineering firm to talk about that.
Sure.
It's on the city right away. They all been involved.
Yeah, this was discussed a while back when all the flooding was going on and all this was fresh on everyone's mind. This is a culvert on city right of way that is allowing water to back up in an area and flood church building, residential homes, other things like that. It's a simple mechanism just to stop the water from coming in, and something that I think this board has addressed a while back and has now chosen to act on it.
Okay. Any other questions on this subject? All right, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we would like to accept the quote from Mid-South Waste Disposal for $74,000 to furnish, haul, and spread 10,000 yards of dirt to the landfill.
Move to accept.
Seconded.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Requesting permission for David Walker to attend the BOM 2023 Winter Conference on November 29th through December the 1st in Natchez, Mississippi, and authorization for the city clerk to issue warrants for hotel registration and travel.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we'd like to acknowledge the waiver of cleaning property located at 336 Quincy Avenue and authorize Public Works to proceed with demolition.
So move to acknowledge, as long as it's on the list,
Second.
proper stuff.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'd like to acknowledge the waiver of cleaning property at 603 LaFord Avenue and authorize Public Works to proceed with demolition.
So move to acknowledge.
Seconded.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we would like to acknowledge the longevity increase of the following employees: Paul Ryan, Stacy Lester, Roslyn Bradley, Sammy Collins, Lane Roberts, Devontae Williams, and Jamarcus Julian.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'd like to acknowledge the status change of the following employees in the Public Works Department: Adrian Hunter, completion of probationary period effective September 30th, and David Walker, increase in supervisory duties effective October 1.
So move to acknowledge.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'd like to request permission to withdraw the offer of employment to Canitria Price as a dispatcher in the police department.
So move.
Well, the chief
Seconded.
was
Yes,
it?
yes.
Okay,
We're good with that.
okay. There was a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we would like to offer employment to the following people in the police department: Melvin Wilson as Corporal 2, Ernest Moore as a part-time corporal, Curtis Hawkins as an animal control officer, and Miss Bickham as a dispatcher.
So move to acknowledge.
Second.
Lyrica? Is that what that is? All right. I'm just trying to make sure I have a first name correct. Okay. There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Would like to approve the payment for the city tabs of the pay application number 2 and pay application number 3 for the library roof repair.
So move to approve.
Seconded.
And there's a second by Commissioner of Ward 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Ms. Dixon, do you want to give us an update on that one?
Yes, work has begun on the library's roof repair. The library has expended the amount that they had in their CD that was received from the insurance payment, so it now comes to the city and the county simultaneously for payment. That is why Ms. Covington, the clerk, did ask for half payments for each, because as we paid half of each pay app, the county is paying the other half.
good.
Next, we have property hearings. We would like to request permission to set hearings for 809 Magnolia, 330 Adams, 1004 Ruskin, and 717th Street.
So moved. Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have a planning commission minutes.
So first up is Willie Childs. He requested a conditional use to operate a barbershop or snack shop as a home-based business at 1750 Chestnut, Zone R12 residential. The planning commission voted to deny, to recommend to the board to deny this request.
So we're gonna vote on each one of these as we go? Or
Yes.
we're gonna do them as a whole?
You can vote on each one.
Yeah, well, let's take each one, because I think they both different.
I'll vote to go along with the planning commission and deny the request.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next will be the Clarksdale Collegiate Public Charter School. They are looking to build a high school at the old Federal Complex, Zone R10 residential, and the Planning Commission looked at the plans and they recommend to approve the request.
I got a question.
Commissioner of Ward 4.
All right,
Commissioner of Ward 1, you have the floor.
I got questions on this, because they want to build a high school. We got Hollyburg School just closed, the Clarksville Public School just closed, 3 schools, because all this is taxpayers' money. And with our population decreasing and all that, because the charter school gets to take money from the public school to operate it. Why in the world, when they build one, you got one over here off of School Street that can be repaired, and you got 3 schools that the city school closed down to repair. So Mayor, I would vote no on this and say that they need to go back, because they take money from the public school, and Clarksville High School done closed 3 schools down, then that, and the public, they will go build a new one? That's taxpayer money.
Wait 1 second.
I
The
mean,
Commissioner has the floor. All right.
I mean, that's waste of taxpayer money, because you're taking money from the public school. Then they won't go build one when you got 4 schools already closed down. And they wanna build a high school? And it's all taxpayer money. I think the citizens of Clarksville need to get behind this, because it's their money. I'm done, Mayor. I wouldn't vote to approve this.
Commissioner Steele has?
Unless it's a resolute, let the community decide that, because you got 12 schools that's closed down, and they won't take money out of public school already and build another school? No. And this city and county can't afford it. I don't know if they get money from the county, but I know the city school gets taxpayer public money. And we can't afford to build what they send into us now.
What, gentlemen?
Well, I'm done, unless I'm misunderstanding what you wanna do or what they wanna do.
So,
Council, 1 second.
He can explain to me,
Okay, Jim,
if I'm
Jim.
misunderstanding.
Gentleman has the floor, and Council, you can.
so a similar question did come up at the planning commission meeting. The Clarksdale Collegiate Public School, they have been approved to build a high school. However, to build a physical building, that money does come from the school, not the taxpayer dollars. Taxpayer dollars follow the students to a public charter school. So the actual building of the building, there will not come from the taxpayers. There will only come, the only thing that will follow, only after the school is built and they have students, will any money follow the students, and that's usually from
That's taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
I think for the collegiate school, I ain't got nothing wrong with that, they can do whatever they want, but when you dealing with taxpayers' money, people started moving out here for better education, and you got schools closing down, you got empty schools that's gonna sit there and probably blight, fall apart, whatever, no upkeep, that's gonna be a menace to this city, and they won't go build one. I think every citizen in Clarksville, Mississippi needs to get behind this and tell them no. Either you take what we got and rehab it or whatever, but that's taxpayers' money. At the end, you say it's following the student, well, that's taxpayers' money following that student. And still, the public still pays for it. Because they operate, every kid they take from the public school, they take public money to send them there. So it's public money, period. You say follow the kid, well, that's public money going with the kid. Well, that's the taxpayers' money that's going with the kid. And we got 3, 4 schools, man, I ain't for sure, I know we got 3. Heidelberg closed this year. And they just put a new roof on it. Spent thousands of dollars last year on it. They need to get that school together with what they got right now before that's taxpayer money. So I will vote no, and I will fight this, and I will ask every citizen in Clarksdale to fight this, because Clarksdale can't afford it. We're doing good to afford a school that we pay now. We sure can't afford to build another high school and you got 3 going down there. That's my sentiment, because that's all taxpayer money. And people are already complaining about the taxes. And sooner or later, this board is going to have to raise taxes to keep the police department, fire department, public works. You can't go eat without costing you $100. We can't buy new equipment for public work that's going to cost several $100,000. Our tax revenue, Mary, you know it ain't coming in like it used to. And I know the state sets the millage that got to go to the school system. The millage is staying the same, but people study moving. So that means more people stay here, got to ante up more money to keep that millage, because they ain't going to drop their millage for the school. So that's going to put more pressure on the last few people that stays here in Clarksdale, Mississippi, to foot the bill. Then when you look at Clarksdale, Oklahoma County, that we operate off of 65% welfare and government assistance, your tax base ain't here to pay the money. Mayor, I'm sorry, I just...
No, gentlemen, you have the floor.
I mean, we fight every day on money. Because I want trees cut down right now, and we can't afford to cut the trees down. And what do you think?
Gentlemen, I don't want to impede on your time.
Well, Mayor, I'm sorry, no.
No, I understand. Just 1 second, but I think there may be some other thoughts, and you still have the floor, but I would want to...
I think I let my feelings known, and good, right, wrong, whatever, that's how I feel about it. And if Bo Plump got to take a vote on it, he will vote no.
Yeah, do you mind if we have 2 other people that need to speak on that? Okay, Ms. Dixon, our grant writer, is first, and then Ms. Smith, you could probably approach the podium, and then we'll have discussion. Ms. Dixon, go ahead.
It is my understanding that the charter school did initially approach the Clarksdale Municipal School Board and request to get one of those closed down schools and rehab it, and they were denied. They would not give them permission to purchase one of the existing buildings. So this was a last resort to build a new facility, but they did attempt to take that track first.
Well, I've been in this government business for a long time now. This board got some influence, and the state got some influence, because it cannot sit there and idle. Either they gonna maintain that building, and kids are gonna be in it, because it does the taxpayer no good. You look at all these other schools that sit down and fall apart, and it costing the taxpayer. The people are not here. We don't have the people to pay the bills. So this board can get involved with the Clarksdale Public School Board and say, either y'all sell it, and if it's something I can do with the state to call the state to get the state involved in, I'll call the state, because that is public money. Point blank, it's public money.
No other comments, sir.
Are you, Ms. Dixon?
That's all.
Okay, so the grant writer. Okay, so Mr. Smith?
Sure. I was asked by Clarksdale Collegiate Schools to present their desire to build on a certain property to the planning commission and to this board. I think the first thing maybe to point out is while you have some very valid concerns that are your individual perspective, that's not why we're here. It is allowable for Clarksdale Collegiate Schools or any other desirable builder, owner, to build on this property. The regulations say that this zoning allows for public schools. The rule says go before the planning commission to make sure that it's a good fit for the neighborhood, not it's not always a good fit for a school to be parked in a certain neighborhood, depending on what it looks like. The planning commission felt like this was a good fit. All the other concerns aside, legally, correct me if I'm wrong, attorney, it is permissible for them to build, whether it's a good premise to do so here or not. The question before the board is, do you agree with the planning commission that it's a good fit for this particular place, this particular property, in this particular neighborhood to have this improvement?
All right, gentlemen, it's still your time, and we yield to you, but I know maybe some other commissioners may have some thoughts, but it's still.
I'd like to see what the other commissioners have to say.
Okay. So you yield for a second. So, Mr. Silly, if you probably could stay at the podium, and there may be some questions.
Okay,
Commissioner Ward 3.
it was to my understanding when the old Clark's High building was up in the collegiate school, I think they approached them to buy that building and they wouldn't sell it. So I'm hearing grant writers say they approached the school again and they wouldn't sell one of the other buildings. So if someone want to build something new, regardless, the way I look at it, in my opinion, if we're looking at industry coming to our city, and they one area they look in is education. If you got 2 good schools or 3 good schools, that look good for Clarksdale as a whole to me. So I'm not the one that look to try to find a way not to do something. I'm one of the ones that look to try to find a way to do. So I myself personally don't have a problem with it. I don't. And that's my opinion. And I will vote with the planning commission on this.
I yield, Mr. Mayor.
Gentleman yields. Commissioner of Ward 4.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Plum has brought up some very valid issues. And I think this council should be good stewards of the funds that come here. Funds that are within our control. I think we need to carry this matter over and do further study. Especially, in light of those valid points that the commissioner has raised.
I will second that.
All right. So, gentlemen, do you?
I need.
Okay. I think what has just come before us, in potentially a way of a motion, is to get some other people at the table, have a robust discussion between here and next week, and we'll potentially would be ready to vote. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to carry this matter over.
So moved.
Second.
As a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right. So it's carried. Next item.
The next issue that came to the planning commission was a recommendation of language to change the zoning ordinance to include processing facilities in highway commercial zones. Originally, it was brought by Dark Horse Medicinals, and represented by Mr. Sean Clarkson. So this would need the board to set a hearing, and the language recommended by the planning commission was that medical cannabis processing facilities shall also be included as an allowable conditional use and C2 highway commercial zoning districts if physically attached to a medical cannabis dispensary. And so because this is will be a change affecting the zoning ordinance, there has to be a zoning hearing first. It will be published in the newspaper, and it would have to be published at least 15 days before the hearing. That will get us to either a Thursday, October 19th, or Monday, October 23rd, which is the vetting meeting, the last vetting meeting and regular board meeting of October.
Okay. So council, I think my little hat speaks for it. I'm pro-business. Let's go ahead. Yes, sir, you have the floor.
Yes, so my name is Sean Clarkson. I represent a company called Dark Horse Medicinals out of Little Rock, Arkansas. We have the largest medical cannabis processor in all of Arkansas. We also operate in Missouri. We're top 10-ish manufacturer for cannabis recreational in Missouri, but for both recreational and medical cannabis in Missouri. So what we do, we don't grow the plant ourselves. We're not cultivators. We buy plant material from the cultivators in the state. We then take that and extract it into an oil that can be used in other products. So those can be edibles, those can be patches, topicals. We do pre-rolls as well as part of that. So we want to come to Clarksdale. Clarksdale is close to Arkansas, obviously. It's within driving distance from Little Rock, which really helps us, and it's an attractive point for us to get here. But in order to do so, we need to be able to operate that processor, and we're planning to do a dispensary at the same facility. We've located a property in Clarksdale. I actually have a purchase agreement in place for that. But that is contingent on getting the zoning ordinance changed to allow for processing on commercial properties, which the state does.
The Old Neighbors Toyota, 713 South State Street.
All right. Old Neighbors Toyota. Understand. All right. I think the hat speaks for itself. I think the board ready to vote. Pro-business. Let's go.
I'll make a motion to agree with the plan.
Second.
This is to set the hearing.
Right, set the hearing.
There's a second to set the hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Let's keep the process going. Estimated timeline. Where are you guys on timing?
Trying to state license by the end of the year. Construction will have to occur, and then I'm shooting for Q2 of 2020.
Understand. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Next one is on the agenda.
Okay. We need a motion.
So move to amend.
Second it.
As a second by Commissioner Ward 4. All right. All those in favor say aye. All right. What is the business?
The agreement with the county to pay the county road department for house demolition.
Okay. So now that we entertained it, council, we just entertained to amend the agenda. So now it's there, and let's talk about it.
Okay, this is an agreement with the county. This will be separate and different from the previous agreement, but this would be, I think it was negotiated by the Public Works Director for $40 per hour per truck in order to demolish and haul off the debris from demolished homes.
Okay, so gentlemen, this is all a part of the process, and this has been a wonderful partnership in the past. Before this administration came in, there was always conflict between the city and the county. And here we have been working diligently together with equipment, manpower. They're using our services, we use theirs, and it has been a great two-step. So we're actually doing quite well. Public Works Director, do you have any other comments to that?
No, sir. I mean, it will help us greatly in our process of demolishing the homes.
And remember the process. We're demolishing, city and county working together, and then we're hauling the dirt to cover the landfill, compliance with DEQ. So this is one of those links in the chain. Council, what do you need?
Authorization for the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement.
Need a motion?
So move.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next we have closed session.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. There's a second by Commissioner of Ward 3. All those in favor say aye. All right, we're going to take just a moment, 2 quick minutes to give everyone a break, and then we're going to go into executive session. Any of you would like to stick around? God bless you.